It's 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon, or the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories you're watching this Tuesday, January 14. VP Sara Duterte's trust and performance ratings have dropped by 10 percentage points in Okta's latest survey as of, I think, November. Her trust rating fell to 49% and performance rating to 48%. Okta research says this is the first time both ratings dropped below the majority threshold. Meantime, President Bongbong Marcos' trust and performance ratings saw slight decreases of 4 and 2 percentage points, but remain high at 65 and 64%. The position of President Marcos on impeachment moves against VP Sara Duterte has not changed. That is according to Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin after the Iglesia ni Cristo peace rally yesterday. Human Rights Committee Chair Congressman Benny Abante also told Storycon on Monday that House leaders are cold to the idea of pursuing the impeachment complaints. In November last year, Marcos confirmed asking Congress to halt any impeachment moves against the VP, calling it a waste of time. And a Pasig court has denied preacher Apollo Quiboloy's request to attend a live television interview for his Senate candidacy. The court cited concerns that the pastor's statements could influence public perception of his ongoing legal battle. Quiboloy is facing a non-bailable qualified human trafficking case before the Pasig RTC. And joining us today, Storycon's resident political pundit Tito Ronald Llamas, who will be with us in a while online because he is again in a series of meetings at mukhang mainit na ang ulo. And from the Philippine Star, Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan. Ito, nakangiti. Hindi mainit ang ulo nito.
Happy Tuesday!
Happy Tuesday! Ami, si Tito Ronald, hahabol na daw mamaya-maya ng konti dahil meron siyang parang bombero yun eh. Parang bombero yun eh. Kung saan pinapatawag, tapos buga ng ano eh.
Punta siya sa LA.
Kung sa LA, mas malakas sa Santa Ana Winds yung kay Tito Ronald eh. Ami, ano mga top story nyo?
May kapalit na si Saudi ko, acting lang naman, si Stella Kimbo.
Stella Kimbo.
Controversial, ano? Oo nga. Kaya iniintay natin, titingnan natin. Acting pa lang daw eh, although siya yung mataas din ang ranggo niya dyan sa committee eh.
Yeah, she is a senior member of the House. Actually, the irony is, the irony that has not caught the attention of a lot of people, is that until recently, she was not even a member of the administration parties. Until several months ago, I think she was still with the Liberal Party. Several months ago, although it's been several months na nga, pero medyo belated ng konti yun. So for a long time, she was part of the Liberal Party, but still allied with or affiliated with the administration. So may ganun konti.
Pero nag-low profile siya kasi medyo naging siya, subject ng criticism ng mga dati niyang kasama sa UP School of Economics, di ba? That's over the Maharlika at kung ano-ano pa. And yung pinaka-recent nga,
mamahaling
yung pinaka-most recent, yung Hermes, yung Birkin bag niya, yan yung pinaka-latest. So we haven't heard from her until now. Yung pinaka-bago niyang posisyon.
Maharlika and mamahalin. So, may ganun. I never did get to understand those things. Whether it's a guy or it's a girl. Kasi mga lalaki, may ganun din, may pagka-banidoso rin minsan eh. May reasons sa mga relong mamahalin, sapatos na mamahalin.
Sobrang banidoso kasi yung Hermes Birkin na yan, pwede umabot ng 1 milyon yan eh.
Yun ang hindi ko makarelate eh, yung mga ganung paggastos eh. But like I said nga, it goes both ways eh.
Kaya siguro, pinakamahal nyo na, mga floor shine, saka yung Rolex. Rolex, mga siguro 700, mga 700,000, ano na yan eh. reasonable na yon sa Rolex, di ba?
To me, it's
Pero
not
yung
reasonable
bag
at all.
namin, di ko malaman. Lalo na napakaraming, naglabas ang Walmart ng Workin. Yan, na halos kapareho daw talaga ni Birkin, ng Hermes, na ngayon flying off the shelves sa Amerika.
Well,
Workin.
an eco bag would do the same trick.
Exactly. Kaya nga.
In the same way, na yung Timex will do the same trick as Rolex.
Tsaka kasi saka lalo ngayon, yung mga mabibigat, yung leather bag, mabigat yan eh. Kung ayaw mo magkaroon ng di ba, yung frozen shoulder.
Ha? Ano yun?
Mabigat yung bitin yung mga bag na yan. Mabigat yan, especially if you're traveling, yung matagal ka nakatayo na may daladal kang bag, masakit dito eh.
Kaya ako, backpack ako, pag mabigat ang dala ko, pantay.
Pantay yung weight. Pero pinakamagaling yung lightweight. Eto na yung masungit ka raw ngayon, Ronald.
Yan na ba yung mainit ang ulo? Yan na ba yung
May frozen shoulder din ako eh.
bakit naman? Baka kasi nagko-cold shoulder ka.
Frozen shoulder din ako, kanyan eh. Senyas siya ng kwan, senyalis siya
Old
ng
age.
kwan, ng tumatanda.
Exactly. Kaya kung medyo yung mga senior na gustong mawala, hindi magkaroon yan, kailangan medyo magaanggang lightweight yung bag mo, di ba? Marami na mga magagandang bag na lightweight, hindi leather. Leather is really heavy. Magandang tingnan, magandang hawakan, pero mabigat siya. At napakamahal magpagamot.
Problema natin, Ami, ang daming lightweight na politiko.
Naku yan. Sabi sa'yo, mainit ang ulo niya ngayon.
Daming lightweight
Napakamahal
na politiko.
magpagamot ng ng frozen shoulder, ang mahal-mahal. Yung pinapagamutan ko na Chinese traditional medicine. Although napaka-highly effective, pero napakamahal niya. Mahal siya.
Teka, pakilala muna natin yung bisita natin yan, yung nasa Zoom, si
Ayan.
Tito Ronald Llamas. Tito Ronald Llamas, ang ating...
Okay na sana yung kwan eh.
Alin?
Okay na sana yung lightweight. Ihirap yung lightweight ka na, idiot ka pa.
Naku,
No?
Kaya una,
Umabang ka doon,
may
umabang
ibang
ka doon.
nag-aaway. Ronald, may ibang nag-aaway ng mga politiko. Yung dalawang Congressman Marcoleta and yung kahapon nating guest si Benny Abante. Criticize daw ni Congressman Marcoleta yung quad kahapon dun sa rally. Kaya nagre-react ngayon, isa sa mga istorya yan, nagre-react si Congressman Abante na hindi lang naman daw siya yung magaling. Kaya tinitingnan natin, yan yung bagong away ngayon.
Kayo kasi, peace.
No.
Peace, kala ko ba peace and unity?
I agree with Congressman Abante once in a while. I agree with Congressman Abante once in a while.
Yan ang sabi ni
Correct naman siya.
Congressman Abante.
Hindi lang naman,
You're
hindi
not
lang naman
the-
si Marcoleta magaling. Oo.
You're not the only intelligent member of Congress, yun ang sabi. Yan ang sabi ni Benny Abante.
Teka,
Ayan.
hindi pa rin papakilala yung ating bisita. Si Tito Ronald Llamas, ang ating resident political pundit. Bisita.
Ayan na. Ayan na, pinakilala ka na.
Ayan. Teka, Tito Ronald, baka pwede
Nasaan
mong
ka?
i-landscape yung yung telepono mo para hindi masyadong malapad yung noo mo. Ay, sorry.
Mukhang nasa mall ka na naman. Mukhang nasa mall ka na naman. H&M yung nakikita ko ngayon.
Ihiga mo yung cellphone mo para mas...
Horizontal cellphone.
horizontal. Ihiga mo, Bok, yung cellphone.
Horizontal
Nagpapalamig ako ng
cellphone.
ulo sa mall. Malamig kasi ang mall eh.
Hindi ata alam ni
Oo
Tito
nga,
Ronald
nasa mall.
horizontal.
Oo.
Hindi niya ata alam ang horizontal. Sige, bayan mo na.
Oo nga. Marami nagre-react dun sa yung istorya na na mukhang hindi matutuloy yung impeachment. Nagpo-push siyempre yung mga proponents ng impeachment
Of course.
na nagpo-push sa Congress na ituloy.
Si
Kapag
Laila.
ganyan, mukhang si Benny Abante ang mas accurate yung reading ng sentimento ng mga membro. Kasi kung hindi, December pa may nakuha na silang mga signatures
Oo nga.
Di ba?
Oo nga. Tito Ronald, ikaw, you're always in touch with the political figures on all sides. What are you hearing as far as the House leadership is concerned, as far as you are willing or able to talk to us about? Mukha bang bibitawan na ng Kongreso, ng House leadership itong impeachment raps until matapos ang eleksyon?
Well, apparently, no? Hintayin nila after the election, pero immediately after the election, 6 session days, doon nila ipafile. Ibig sabihin, yung pa rin kasalukuyang Congress ang magpafile.
Okay.
Dahil may 6 session days after the election.
That's from June 2 to June 12.
Tapos iaakyat nila sa Senate, at dahil ito ay quasi-judicial body, pwedeng i-take pa rin ng Senate kahit may mga bago ng senador. Yun yung framework nila. Alam mo naman na, Ed, hindi naman ako learned katulad mo eh.
No.
Kaya
I forgive
hindi
you.
ko sigurado yung legal basis nito. Pero yun yung plano.
Okay, you're talking with certainty. I suppose that you've talked to key House leaders about this and that this has been confirmed? Bigla tuloy tumahimik. Ay na sumagot.
Pero hindi pa umuupo yung mga bagong senador niyan, Ronald eh. Ang term nila starts at noon of June 30. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko sa sinabi ni Benny Abante, hindi na lang ipa-file sa House Justice Committee para hindi ma-trigger yung one-year immunity ko sa kasakali. Iintayin na lang yung pagpasok ng bagong Kongreso kasi we're all expecting naman na Speaker Martin will become the Speaker again. Kaya lang, we are expecting na mas dadami yung pro-administration sa darating na Senado. Di ba?
Yes.
Pwede siyang i-refile.
Yes. Tama yun.
O hindi na nila kailangan ihabol dito sa Kongreso to. Kasi itong Kongreso to, di ba, noong Disyembre ba, nagbibilangan na eh. Sinasabi mukhang hindi makukuha yung
Sa
votes
Senado.
eh.
Sa Senado.
Oo.
Teka, Ami, Tito Ronald, atrasan ng konti para lang klaro sa ating mga nanonood. Kasi itong 19th Congress, itong existing 19th Congress, itong session days lang niya, magmula kahapon hanggang February 6, or February 7. Tapos eleksyon na ang susunod. Pagkatapos ng eleksyon, meron pa siyang 8 session days left from June 2 to June 12. Kasi pag Fridays, wala silang sessions eh. So that's 8 session days pa after elections na meron ang 19th Congress bago magpalit ng batch. Tama ba intindi ko, Tito Ronald? So ang usapan so far is that itutuloy ng House dun sa between June 2 and June 12 ang impeachment. Tapos ibabato nila sa Senado and they're expecting, and that's a legal question, although that's a legal question, they're expecting na in the 20th Congress, the Senate can pursue the trial na, even though it was an impeachment of the 19th. They're assuming that the 20th can conduct a trial.
Yes, dahil learned Ed Lingao, ang kanilang premise, no, ay yung impeachment court is not a legislative court. It is a quasi-judicial system. And quasi-judicial system may continuity.
Okay, regardless of the members, regardless of the changing membership. That is an interesting...
It's the chamber tackling, not the members. Ganon.
That is an interesting,
Pero baka aakit yan sa Supreme Court, ha?
Yun na, tama,
yung
diba?
issue na yan. Kaya lang, madadali nga.
Kaya nga, Ami, may isang dating Chief Justice ng Supreme Court na maglalabas ng kanyang legal opinion soon.
Pwede.
Teka, isang dati o isang existing?
Parang kilala ko na yung justice na yun.
Teka, Tito Ronald, is that former justice?
Former.
Okay.
Parang kilala ko na yun.
Would you care to, Ami, would you care to take a guess?
Parang kilala ko na yun. Kaya lang.
Yung kilala mo, hindi Philippine Star yun, ha?
Hindi. Kasi kapag inintay pa nila for next opening, baka umabot siya hanggang di ba? 20, medyo late na talaga yun eh.
Yes.
Medyo after midterms na yan eh.
Saka baka maging lame duck yung presidente.
Kasi
depende nga sa
Kasi the 20th Congress officially resumes the 2 Mondays before the end of June, which is SONA. Di ba?
SONA.
So halos July na yun.
Yes. At saka mag-uumpisa ng pre-positioning for 2028. In fact, nagsalita na nga kahapon si VP Sara, di ba?
Not to
Sabi
mention,
niya, she's seriously considering running for president, which is actually what everybody thinks. And which is what her opponents think, hindi ba? Kaya ganyang katindi. Walang yun ang suspetsya nila. Na kaya ganyang katindi ang focus sa kanya dahil nga to stop her from yun na nga, yung presidential plans niya for 2028. Pero eto siya na mismo nagsabi that she is seriously considering running for president dahil daw sa mga nakikita niyang katiwalian ngayon sa bansa. Lagi naman may katiwalian dito.
Ang problema, Ami, ang away hindi lang between the Marcoses and the Dutertes. Ang away din is within the Marcoses. No? May away din doon.
Well, tell us about that. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? In particular, what kinds of factions or groupings or agrupations are we talking about here? Even if you don't name names, just give their initials.
Marcos yung naman na Romualdez sa apelyido niya. Tatlong apelyido lang naman niya ang mga yan.
Kaya nga eh. Ayaw niyo magsalta. Kita mo, tumatahimik eh.
Pasensya na, it's beyond my pay grade.
Let me put it this way. Tito Ronald, ikaw ba ngayon ay mainit ang ulo? O hindi?
Mainit.
Yung mainit ang ulo. Okay. That tells us a lot.
Kaya nga nagpapalamig nga daw dun sa mall eh. Kaya nagpapalamig sa mall.
Dahil idiots are coming out of the woodwork.
Tito Ronald, request ko na sa'yo, when you say that magic word,
alam ko naman na maraming idiots. Pero nagulat ako sa dami, no? Nagulat ako sa dami, no?
Okay. I understand, but can you use a different phrase like I don't know, intellectually challenged or cerebrally challenged or
Okay. Unlearned.
So do not use that word because that has been used against us. That's been used on us already.
Ang dami
unlearned. Tayo yung unlearned Ayaw yung unlearned. Hindi, tuwing eleksyon naman, nagaganyan talaga tuwing eleksyon. Talaga tuwing eleksyon, kung ano maririnig mo hindi ba? Titignan natin kung ano yung resulta in May, tapos everybody will be acting accordingly. Anyway, at least may ganyang...
Critical juncture. Hindi ito isang ordinaryong eleksyon. Hindi ito isang ordinaryong eleksyon. We are in a critical juncture, no? Dahil kung hindi matuloy yung mga Damocles swords sa ulo ng mga Duterte, they will have momentum going into 2028. They will have the momentum.
Kaya nga kailangan magkaroon ng alternative, no? Hindi naman, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Duterte or another member of the Marcos clan Kaya kailangan magkaroon ng another Black Swan. Di ba? Ilang beses na naman yan nangyari sa atin. Titingnan natin.
You know, dark horses, black swans,
mga unexpected events na pumapasok sa politics natin. No. Hindi dark horse, black swan. No.
I'm saying we have a virtual zoo in Philippine political life.
Hindi ba? Yung history natin talaga, hindi mo napaka-unpredictable, parang no? Magic realism.
Bok, let me also ask Ronald. Of course, the legislators probably saw. Clearly, they saw the numbers yesterday. At least the images they saw yesterday sa Luneta and all over the country. Did those images have any impact, do you think, on any decision that they are making as far as impeachment moves are concerned?
Para lang ma-delay, di ba?
Pag tumatahimik si Ronald, di sabihin ayaw niyo magsalita.
Ma-delay siya. Ma-delay yung filing. Palilipasin yung election.
Oo nga. Okay.
Palilipasin yung eleksyon, nagsalita na nga Malacanang hindi ba? Ayan si Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin. Sabi niya, si President Marcos has not changed his position. Which was what the Iglesia was supporting actually in the rally, yung
Yeah,
statement ni BBM.
because on the surface at least, the Iglesia said that their rally is in support of the president's call not to pursue the impeachment. So it's a roundabout way of saying na don't impeach Sara. So we support
Kasi
your...
sinabi din naman natin noon, since si President Marcos mismo, siya mismo nagsabi niyan Siya mismo nagsabi niyan, kapag hindi siya sinunod ng House, although it's supposed to be an independent chamber, di ba may reflection din yan sa kanya, gagamitin din yan sa kanya ng mga opponents niya. Wala naman sumusunod sa'yo sa supermajority mo. Di ba? Meron ding ganung yung pinsan mo is acting on his own. Di ba? Kahit sabihin mong nag-uusap yan sigurado since they are very close, pero merong, because it was made publicly, the statement, siyempre gagamitin yun against him
Yeah.
Kung hindi siya masusunod.
And I suppose that's what Tito Raul was referring to when he said that even within the administration, there are different groups and different factions that may be battling it out.
Kaya ngayon, nagsalita yung mga proponents ng impeachment na ewan ko kung arang suntok na lang yata sa buwan yan ngayon na ituloy nyo naman yung impeachment.
Anyway, Ami, si Tito Ronald dropped out. Mukhang naputol o baka naubusan ng load. Magpapasa load ako sa kanya
Baka
saglit.
naputol yung mahina ang dun yung sa mall medyo intermittent yung
Hindi, magpapasa load ako sa
Yung
kanya habang
signal.
magagap tayo. So magagap muna tayo ng konti.
Sige.
You're watching Storycon
Sige.
News. We just need to take a break. We'll be right back.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon or the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and with us, of course, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. And Tito Rol Llamas, our political pundit. Is he here ready or
Wala pa.
hindi ko pa napapadaling load?
Kala ko nagpasa-load ka.
Joke lang yun ko naman. Yung si Ronald pa, ipapasa load ko. Baka bilhin niyo na akong bagong cellphone. Okay.
Baka mahina yung signal doon.
Oo nga. Let's call in our first guest for the day, Octa Research Fellow Guido David. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome to Storycon.
Hi, Professor.
Magandang hapon. Hi, Ami and Ed, and Happy New Year sa inyo. And
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Long
sir.
time no see, ah.
Yes, sir.
Long time no.
Yeah.
And at least now we're not talking about COVID.
Oo nga, wala na. Natapos din, ano?
Sir, your fourth quarter
Tapos
survey. Quite interesting, the numbers. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Medyo malaki ang double digit ang binaba dun sa trust rating ni VP Sara from 59% nung third quarter, I think, to 49% in the fourth quarter. The survey was conducted November 10 to 16, di ba? Could you run us quickly through what could possibly have triggered that kind of a drop of 10 percentage points?
Yeah, that's a good point, Ed and Ami, my friends. So actually, may nagbanggit na she has been having a continuous drop in numbers since last year pa. I mean, actually since 2022. After they won the elections, nasa 80 to 90% in trust and performance ng
Sir, if I may, sir, ito, I have the graph in front of me. For Sara, from October 22, this is your graph. October 22 was 86%. By November 2024, it's now at 49%. That's that's quite that's
parang nakalahati. That's a lot.
From October 2022.
But we're also seeing her numbers are still very strong sa Mindanao. Nasa 90%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's not happening in Mindanao where she's seeing the drop. Kumbaga, consistent. I mean, she's hold on to her numbers sa Mindanao, but it's in NCR and Balance Luzon mostly na yung decrease ay nakita natin. And again, this is a nationwide survey, 1,200 respondents. So plus minus 3% margin of error. And yun nga, medyo, I mean, except for Mindanao, medyo across the board, we're seeing the decline. And you're asking kung ano yung reason. Well,
what could be the reason?
Well, several. I mean, isang hypothesis ko, and I even tell to Ronald Llamas about this, that yung mga Filipinos generally don't like yung conflict. Parang we're kind of peace loving. Gusto natin medyo mayapa, parang ganyan. Parang focus lang sa baho, focus sa mga problems natin, and isa sa mga key problems natin is inflation. I mean, even the survey showed that inflation is still one of the top concerns of the Filipinos. Pero syempre, pag nagkakaroon ng things that happened over the past month, hindi lang naman yung impeachment. Impeachment is parang end result na nangyari because of the culmination of what happened or what's been going on over the past few months. Pero yung nangyari sa Congress, yung after the hearings and yung Quadcom, and then nagkaroon ng yung mga threats. And I think yun hindi naman siya incident na hindi nagpropagate. In fact, it's one of the most viewed news stories nung last year because it reached all over the world. And I think that has definitely affected kasi kung inabot yung mga OFWs sa mga balita, I mean, not just OFWs, but it gets people talking, and I think yun nga, that's one of the for me lang, it's just a hypothesis, hindi naman natin alam for sure kung anong reason, pero sa tingin ko yan yung isa sa mga reasons kung bakit. And I think aware din naman yung side nila about declining numbers because they're probably getting a survey din. Baka may sources sila, may references sila. And if they're seeing more or less the same results or same situation, and maybe that's the reason kung bakit medyo parang nag-recalibrate sila ng mga talking points, ng mga strategies nila. Kasi suddenly ngayon, iba na yung discussion. Yes, they're rallying for peace, and it's more about peace and unity again. So parang binabalik nila yung discussion back into peace and unity instead of yung adversarial na nangyari past the month. Yes.
Hindi sila yung nagpipeace and unity, Professor INC yun. Yung mga Duterte, palaban pa rin eh. Hindi, hanggang ngayon. The Dutertes didn't show up at the rallies eh. And ang messaging nila is still they're still against the government. So, ang tatanong ko lang, kung ganyan ang kanilang messaging, medyo nag-tone down hindi na nagtitreat na mag-assassinate at hindi na medyo tempered na yung choice of words. Oo, kaya lang, kung ganyan pa rin ang posisyon nila against this administration, sa tingin nyo, it will tuloy-tuloy ang trend na yan na pababa?
Yeah, I don't know Ami, if it can still get any lower because,
Yes.
I mean, they're still holding on to some sa Mindanao, I don't think na babagsak yung numbers nila sa Mindanao, to be fair. And sa Visayas, they also have some areas na they're still holding strong sa Visayas. Not the whole of Visayas, pero some parts of Visayas, their numbers are still good. Pero sa NCR ang balance nun, I guess it's possible na pwede pang bumaba. I mean, ako, on the ground, I still see some people or talk to some people who support the Duterte, even sa NCR and the balance Luzon. But I think that number's been decreasing. And for the average person, may di naman talagang, doon sa namin, political preference, it shows na maraming mga independent-minded Filipinos. And for these people who are independent-minded, sila parang sway nitong mga, yung mga adversarial events na nangyari nung past years. Kasi yung syempre, yung mga supporter nila, they're probably solid supporters no matter what happens. Pero what about yung block of Filipinos na mga more or less independent? And, that's probably about almost half of mga Filipinos. And, if sila parang mga swing voters natin, and if you lose their support, it's going to be very difficult to win a national election.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, Prof, yung numbers, yung perception, the difference in perceptions between, for example, Mindanao and Luzon for both BBM and Sara. Talagang North and South eh. Kasi for example, ang trust ratings ni BBM, highest siya sa trust ratings sa Balance Luzon, which of course includes Luzon, Northern Luzon, the Ilocos region. And ang lowest trust ratings ni BBM are in Mindanao at 45. Sa distrust naman ni BBM, highest ang distrust sa kanya sa Mindanao at lowest ang distrust sa kanya sa Balance Luzon. Quite the opposite for VP Sara. Ang highest trust rating ni VP Sara, 90% sa Mindanao. Ang laki. Yan ang trust rating ni VP Sara. Ang lowest sa kanya is Balance Luzon. Sa distrust naman, ganun din. Highest sa NCR si Sara at lowest sa Mindanao at 2% si Sara sa distrust. So talagang nag-North and South pa rin until now.
Until now. And I mean, it's been the case naman talaga na voters tend to support people from their area. For many reasons. Hindi lang naman dahil, they just like that person because they're from the area, kababayan nila or something. May economic rin yan, consequences because if there's a candidate na nakupo sa national position and it's from their area, there's a good chance na matutulungan economically. Yes, yung area nila, let's say from Davao. So we've seen that naman na no matter who the candidate is. So basta, from your area, you tend to support it. And pero yung the Duterte support in Mindanao is still, 9 out of 10. Parang kumbaga hindi siya bumaba since 2022. Parang ganun. So, how do we, attribute that? Well, partly, I'm not in Mindanao, pero I would imagine if the media there is also strongly in support of them, then syempre yung framing ng news and the mga discussions will be still supportive sa kanila. And so people from that area, yun yung mga naririnig nila that yung support ng mga media personalities or yung mga influencers. On the other hand, dito sa Balance Luzon, sa NCR, there's a lot of lumalabas na parang negative news or talking points or opinion about them. So ito yung naka-affect ng numbers naman nila dito negatively. So ganun siya eh. I mean, it's partly yung baluarte nila and partly yung news na lumalabas because there are geographic differences sa news delivery and sa mga public opinion.
Professor, yung perception niyo ng pagbaba, kasi you conducted a survey at the time na pinaka-vocal si VP Sara, di ba? Yan yung pinaka-palaban siya that period eh. Pero, and you think siya mismo ang isang malaking dahilan sa pagbaba ng trust rating. Pero how much of that was affected by the Quadcom investigation? Hindi lang yung Quadcom wala, pati yung sa Committee on Good Government that directly focused on her, yung paggamit niya ng confidential funds niya, yung sa both OVP saka yung sa Department of Education. Ano sa tingin niyo yung mas malaki ba yung weight nun? Yung kasi I'm asking because sabi ng Quadcom, si Congressman Abante, itutuloy pa raw ng Quadcom eh. Meron pa raw silang mga ibang kailangang linawin doon sa mga issues na yon involving the Dutertes.
Actually, Ami, those are good points, and I think it's a combination of both. And pag titingnan natin yung pag-i-track natin yung since we do the survey quarterly, una nag-surface yung mga yung mga hearings about the confidential funds and the intel funds sometime nung 2023, I think. And that's also the time na talagang nag-start na rin ma-affecting numbers ni Vice President because of the confidential funds. But I think at that time, she was still seeing baka mga 70 sa trust and performance niya. So, kumbaga, the confidential funds and the intel funds have started to have an effect on her numbers even nung 2023. Pero yung most recent one, like yung November of last year, yun na yung mga about yung mga Quadcom hearings and about yung pinasapina nila and all these items na nangyari which led up to yung Chief of Staff ni Vice President being subpoenaed. And I think those events na nangyari at that time we saw a further decrease in numbers kasi at that time, noong October, she was still seeing 59% trust. That's about 6 out of 10. And now it's about half. So parang nawawala siya ng 1 out of 10 Filipinos being nako-convert bigla. Or hindi mo nako-convert. Pero, na may influence ng mga pangyayari dito na nakikita natin. So I think it's a combination of those things. Pero her numbers had already decreased even in 2023 when they started talking about the confidential funds. But now, it's actually less than 50% na 49% yung trust.
Prof, let me ask you naman, I know you're a mathematician, but let me ask you now, not just about political probabilities, but as well about mathematical probabilities in the future. This month, we expect, of course, I'm sure you saw yesterday's, the images from yesterday's rally na Iglesia ni Cristo. Massive crowds at the Luneta and in certain parts of the country. And then there are other rallies slated for this month. Mag-rally ata yung mga pro-impeachment naman. January 30, no, Ami? January 31.
Yes.
January 31. Yeah, January 31. So you will have these rallies, maybe different sizes of crowds, maybe different temperatures of crowds, or different tempers as well. I'm wondering, gaano ba kalaki kaya ang impact ng mga rally na ito dun sa public perception. I'm talking of course the possibility of bandwagon effect. Alam mo yun, yung pag mukhang maraming supporter ng isang tao, dumadami tuloy lalo ang mga supporter. Yung ganun ba? Is that something that we could see after the end of this month? Or when you do your first quarter surveys after the first quarter? Is this something that could affect yung numbers?
Well, definitely. And yung Filipinos, I mean, we tend to have that bandwagon effect. And even sa pag kumakain tayo sa mga restaurants, naririnig ko minsan, ay, huwag tayo kumain dyan, walang tao eh. Tapos gusto,
Okay.
gusto nila kumain sa mga
Maraming tao.
yung mga
Kailangan
puno na
makikipagsiksikan sila.
restaurant, pipila pa. Makikisiksik pa, makikipila. Kahit may waiting list, kahit okay, pang 5 kayong sa table, tsatsagain kesa doon sa ibang restaurant na wala masyadong kumakain. Because, siguro yung perception is, ay siguro masarap dyan kaya marami kumakain.
Or there's also survival instinct.
Ganun,
It's also survival instinct.
yes. Survival instinct.
Pero
And
does it
ganun
work
din
for
tayo.
religious groups? Kasi kahit yung sa Davao, hindi nga sumama yung Kingdom of Jesus
KOJC.
Christ Magkakaibang grupo yan if you're going to have a show of force na religious group, hindi sasama dyan yung iba. And ang pinakamalaki pa rin namang grupo dito sa Pilipinas, although there's no such thing as a Catholic vote nga, yung Roman Catholic pa rin. Di ba? Meron bang impact yan? Meron bang ganong bandwagon effect?
Well, sa political preference, minsan may mga ganyang parang bandwagon effect. And I'm not saying na it's going to come into play here necessarily. Sabi ko lang in general, I subscribe na meron yung bandwagon effect. Sometimes Filipinos will, we know that about 20% of Filipinos choose their candidates on the day of the election. So minsan,
Yes.
andyan yung bandwagon effect. Parang titingin siya sa nanay niya or sa katabi niya. Sino ba boboto mo? Ito na lang boboto ka. I mean, not for all candidates, pero for some candidates. So bandwagon effect is real. Now, the question is, magkakaroon ba ng bandwagon effect dito sa, because of the rally? From history, we know that this religious group has traditionally opposed yung mga impeachments. I mean, even at the time of ERAP.
Yeah, they had a large rally ng panahon ni ERAP, pro-ERAP. I remember that as well
Yeah,
sa Quirino
Na-impeach pa rin si Erap.
Yeah, so,
Na-impeach pa rin si
kumbaga,
Erap.
yes, hindi nag-come into play yung bandwagon effect. So, it depends rin gaano kalakas yung boses ng kunyari ng crowd who are, gunning for impeachment. So, yun nga. And siguro, the rally na upcoming, we will get a sense of, how strong that rally is. Kasi, kunyari, yung parang rally of support for the Dutertes na nangyari kunyari sa EDSA. I mean, we didn't see a lot of people there sa EDSA shrine. So it reflects din naman sa numbers that their base of support in NCR, for example, has declined significantly. But yun nga, yung bandwagon effect, we'll see it din. I mean, may bandwagon effect, but we'll see which one's the bigger bandwagon, kumbaga. So it depends rin or kung balance sila. Yeah, I mean, and in this day and age, medyo na rin mga Filipinos, they tend to, they see social media, they tend to think more for themselves now compared to in the past.
Pero yung mga surveys nyo, you're a statistician, hindi naman, it doesn't consider religious, di ba, religious sentiment. Generalized yung mga, mga surveys na I mean, demographic yan hindi siya based on religious beliefs.
We see the religious choice, kasi kunyari, we can see how many of Catholics voted this way, we can see how many of...
Hindi, kapag ganun yung survey, pero yung mga ganyang general, siya, yung neutral siya, di ba? Faith neutral siya. Kapag ganyan mga trust rating, I'm talking about the trust ratings, it's faith neutral. Di ba?
Yeah, kasi unlike yung mga political, kunyari, voting preferences, it tends to sway in terms of groups. Dahil minsan may command, at the top of the system na nagsasabing or nagsasuggest na, okay, maybe we should vote for these people. Pero sa ito, so yes, you're right. Ami medyo mas neutral siya, but big rallies may still have an effect on how people decide or think. So again, I think na we will see pa. I can't answer that now. I mean, what I'm saying is may affect sila, but how big of the effect is hindi ko pa masasabi right now until we measure it siguro next month pag nakita natin yung effect nito. Kung mag-change man kung gumalaw yung baso, kumbaga, at mag-change yung sentiment of the people towards them.
Okay. Okay, maraming salamat for joining Storycon this afternoon. Octa Research Fellow, Dr. Guido David. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you, Ed and
Professor.
Annie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for joining Storycon today. Aming Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief ng Philippine Star, ng ating resident political pundit na nagpapalamig ng ulo sa isang mall. Mainit na ng ulo ngayong araw na ito. Huwag natin sabihin kung bakit, pero sige, may idea na siguro kayo. So, join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Storycon. I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.